Okay, this show is for this fella, Thielenm. Thielenm? Let me see if I can find more information on him. The guitar playing dude, if that's him. Or whoever he is. This fella, whoever he is. Thielenm. And he must be, oh, he's in the States. Okay. Ooh, that's bad. No offense to him, but the United States got the programming real bad. He's in denial that white folks are a minority in the world. I thought that was well known. But let's go look. I just took a moment to look up some information, okay, just now. And global white population to plummet to single digit. Black population to double. Okay. This is from 2008. The population in Africa just hit 1 billion. Okay. But it says in the 1950s, it was 27.98 of the white population. White population will plummet to a single digit, 9.76 by 2060. You guys are already in a negative birth rate. And these are just estimates, okay? Using 2010's base reference, the big gainer in population derby will be blacks or sub-Saharan Africans. This group will expand almost 133% to 2.7 billion. They're just talking about in Africa, okay? Now, also found this. Wikipedia says 840 million, but many blacks are undercounted worldwide. Example, Turkey said there were 800,000 black people, but as recently revealed there were around 3 million. And they're not counting the blacks in the Dravidian Indians in south of India. They're considered that part of that population group. They're not counting the blacks who are in Brazil or the blacks in America. They're looking at, you know, they're basically under accounting. Let's see. My estimate also black population in Asia, 220,000 estimate, and the black population in the Pacific area, which is around 100,000. And they're saying all this stuff is actually undercounted. Okay. Now, it's common knowledge that the Caucasian is at a zero, below zero. I believe it's what the current estimate is, birth rate. And I saw this going on back in the late 70s and 80s, where people were starting to have, Caucasian people were starting to have children later, because they got smart actually, and they started having fun first, and then they would settle down later in life and have their kids, and they'd have 1 or 2 kids. Okay, you see that going on a lot. Intelligent child planning. Okay, and I respect that. But unfortunately, it's caused a negative, dropping down to a negative, if not, if I can recall properly, below negative birth rate. And that's recent information I just saw in the last week. So to this fella here, he said I'm a racist, and that's just not true. I tell it like it is when I get the information. Okay, the limbs, thy limbs. I tell it like it is. It's nothing to do with racial stuff. I don't sugarcoat it. I don't candy coat it. I just tell it like it is. Okay, and I know that's a hard pill to swallow, especially if you live here in America. You guys got it bad. You know, you guys got the whole twisted, distorted history that blacks came out of Africa chucking spears, and there was no civilization in Africa. You probably believe that. You know, you guys got the whole bad side of it here in America. And I'm really sorry for that. There's nothing I can do about that. Okay, so good luck to you. I don't mean to be the red pill that gives you a sour stomach, but that is the truth of what's going on out there. Okay? Good luck to you, and I wish you well, fella. Oh, before I sign off this show, let me show you how fucked up history is. Okay, I'm looking up the origin of the harp, and the reason is because we saw a video where they took photographs within the walls of Egypt, and I saw they were playing the harp there. And I know in the Caucasian history, you guys, pictured it was white folks that invented the harp, and it was beautiful angels, white angels in heaven with, those white wings and the white garb and all that kind of stuff. And let's see if they even depict that it came out of Africa. Let's see. Oldest depictions of harp without a four pillar are from 5000 BC, which was the Sumerian harp of Persia and Iran. Okay. Now we have to look at what people were living there. Oh, here we go. And from 4000 BC in Egypt. So they're dating this one older and this one as being younger. And that's the interesting stuff that I see about history. Okay. The weird shit that's going on. I'll give them that one because this is a newer date because they go in reverse there. But how about the bow and arrow? Okay. By the way, I already read this stuff. How about the bow and arrow? Now, I know Caucasian folks like to picture those knights and all that kind of stuff with the strong long bow, and they took on the name longbow in England and had their long bows and fighting and stuff like that. But what is the real origin of the bow and arrow? Did it come out of Europe? 64,000 years ago, depictions of it on a South African cave. 64,000 years ago. When did the Bible start? 6,000 years ago. When did the Caucasian race, according to DNA, suggested starting? About 6,000 years ago. When was there bow and arrows? 64,000 years ago. Who was around back then? Africans. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is to help my black brothers get some real self-esteem. I'm not trying to bring one race down and at the expense, but unfortunately, there's been a lot of lies put out there. And I've been uncovering the truth, and it's given me real self-esteem. So I'm trying to share that with my black brothers out there, okay? People of African descent. There's a lot of mixed or biracial people who do not even want to acknowledge their black side. Case in point, look at the golfer dude. When they asked, what are you? And he said, his mother's race, and then he said English. Black was the last thing he listed. And that shows that he was not proud of his black heritage. Look at Michael Jackson trying to turn himself white. Do not use his DNA for the first kids, and I don't think that's his DNA on the third child, because the child's hair is perfectly straight, and there should be curl in that hair. Those of you guys who are biracial, you know that to be the truth. So they need to do a DNA test to see if he really did use his DNA on the child called Blanket. But to me, it looks like he was ashamed to be black because he turned himself white. He cut off his nose to the point where the damn thing fell off. So that's an example of black folks who don't know the real history and are ashamed of it. And that's what I'm trying to help the brothers on this station, on this channel, overcome, so they have real pride when they go into the game. Okay? So I'm trying to bolster the black fellas' self-esteem with some truth. Truth as I learn it. As you guys see, I read a lot of books, and also I watch a lot of different channels on YouTube. And when they show stuff like Wikipedia, or they go deeper and they start quoting the scholars out there, then I sit up and listen. Wikipedia, I can take it or leave it, because I can go in there and change some shit in there. So I'm told, anybody can write shit in there. And that Wikipedia can be almost as bad as, by the way, they found it in Africa. That's why I want to show you guys that. But when people go in there and change it, it doesn't sound too valid to me, although it's a great source of information. I don't think colleges allow you to use Wikipedia as a source, though. I'm not sure, but I think I've heard something like that. One day I was looking for the history of the bandolin. And because the bandolin is all through Europe and all that kind of stuff, and I was kind of curious about it. And let's see, I believe it originated, if I recall right, in northern Africa, somewhere in there, and I can't see that right now. History, okay, let's see what we have here. Evolved from the lute family in Italy. That's not what I read a long time ago, but that's fine. The mandolin in Naples. The origin of the instrument was the mandor. 14th century for the lute. The instrument spread throughout Europe. Further back dating is 15,000, 8,000. There it is. So what people were around 15,000, 8,000 BC? Africans. Okay. They go back to Mesopotamia and appearing in Spain. That's cool. 711 AD, courtesy of the Moors. There it is. And I was looking for the history of something called the Fads, or Fadus. And that's a type of singing that they do in Portugal, where the people close their eyes. And if I recall right, they traced it back to the early history of Portugal. And they suggested it might have actually originated out of northern Africa. And these things change all the time. That's why I'm looking for the real history. Here we go. And it didn't say that last time, 1840. It went back even further in time, way back the last time I read this. That's what I don't like about Wikipedia, is that, you know, shit changes in there. Let's see, we want the original history of the Fads. We'll have to go to another source for that. But anyway, that's one example, you know. A lot of stuff came out of northern Africa and in Africa. It's just the way it is. And I can understand why a lot of Caucasian people can get upset by that. It looks like black folks trying to claim everything. And I totally understand how you can feel about that. You know, I can step into your shoes and see how you feel, is what I'm saying. Let's see what this says. History in England. Let's see, let's go back. Well, I'll make sure I tell Jovina that Wikipedia thing changed. Okay, fellas, peace. Okay, in closing to that fella, let me state that it's not evil black people running around making stuff up. This is Caucasian people writing this stuff, okay? And Caucasian scholars who are uncovering stuff. Like one fellow on the forum said, you know, most of what I'm coming out with was from Caucasian scholars, okay? So it's not black folks running around writing these articles and making up this kind of stuff. The nationalpolicyinstitute.org. There's not evil black people back there, you know, creating a bunch of lies and stuff like that. This is Caucasian folks who are coming out with this information because they are concerned. You know, 8.9%. The current estimate is that the Caucasian race is about 15% of the world population, somewhere around there. And that's what I just heard recently. Somewhere around 15%. I don't recall the exact number. Okay? Just like in America, I believe the black population is somewhere around 15%. It might be higher, it might be lower. I don't recall the exact number. That's why I can only guesstimate at 15%. Okay? But in closing, it is your own scholars who are uncovering the history and coming out with it. I don't know why they're doing that, but I'm grateful for it because also there are black scholars who are also uncovering history too. So the two of them are actually syncing together. Okay? So I do wish you luck in your beliefs, and I I am sorry to deliver this kind of pill to you. You could blame your own scholars, though. You shouldn't blame black folks of this type of information that's coming out. Okay? Peace.